On this episode of In the Fight, soldiers in Afghanistan compare the past with the present. We take to the front lines during multinational military exercise Saber Strike. Soldiers hunt for explosive devices throughout the roads of Afghanistan. The military works to develop a united front in Africa. And family members joyously welcome the return of loved ones. Returning to the place you were stationed on your last deployment can have a profound impact on a service member. Army Sergeant Brittany Armstrong introduces us to soldiers from the 1st Brigade Combat Team that compare the past with the present.
Two soldiers of the 1st Brigade Combat Team out of Nangarhar Province had the chance to return to a place they once called home for a year. The emotional return to former U.S. Army Forward Operating Base Blessing in Kunar Province brought back many memories.
The first day I was here, I went up to the OP the very first day over in Hammerhead, and when we came back, we were going to leave the next day, and we learned that a couple of my friends had been killed in a firefight.
Even with the loss of friends' blood, sweat, and tears, the confidence placed into the hands of the Afghans was worth the cause.
I'm pretty proud that we're making this transition. To me, it's a means to an end. It shows the culmination of everything that we've done out here in this country. And now, you know, it's just all the work that we've put into this country is now culminating into this. Now we're at the end where we're advising them and preparing them to take over.
The former Army base is now under control of the Afghan National Army. Reporting from former U.S. Army Forward Operating Base Blessing, Afghanistan, I'm Army Sergeant Brittany Armstrong.
Learning Farsi has given a soldier in Zabul province a unique position with his Afghan counterparts. Army Sergeant Tim Morgan profiles an Army engineer and brings us this story.
Language is certainly not a deciding factor for the relationship between this soldier and his Afghan counterparts.
Compared to Spanish and English, it's completely backwards, so that's what makes it somewhat difficult.
Deployed now for over 6 months as an advisor, Army Engineer First Lieutenant Oriana is picking up his 3rd language in Dari.
I've learned it from my interpreters, from training, like just self-taught pretty much.
Something he says makes his experience with an Afghan engineer platoon more rewarding.
They appreciate it when you try to learn their language, so I've had a good time, and I enjoy conversating with these guys, and especially with Safar Mohammed.
Safar Hamid, the platoon sergeant for the 2nd Mobile Strike Force, is the key Afghan Oriana works with while conducting joint engineer missions on Highway 1.
Safar, this time they'll throw smoke right now. Now since we've trained him, he's actually training his other subordinate soldiers, so that's awesome that we're able to see that, we're able to be a part of it, of train to trainer.
And train he does. The 2nd Mobile Strike Force now acts as a quick reaction force in Zabul province for hasty route clearance operations.
The route clearance is the fun stuff. You gotta find IEDs and blow them up.
However, it's not always fun for engineers. They must remain vigilant and focused at all times to ensure the safety of themselves and those around them. But a successful detonation of an IED is always rewarding. It reminds engineers like Oriana why they do what they do.
Any IED that we find as engineers is a life that we save, a potential life that we save.
From Zabul Province, Afghanistan, I'm Army Sergeant Tim Morgan.
Approximately 2,000 personnel from 14 countries recently took part in Saber Strike 2013 throughout Latvia, Estonia, and Lithuania. Air Force Tech Sergeant Bert Traynor takes us straight to the front lines to get a first-hand look at this multinational military exercise.
We're ready!
A convoy of vehicles on the move marks the start of Saber Strike's main field training exercise. After a week of situational training, this multinational mix of infantry goes out to the field to work together as one.
It's about 4 days of continuous 24-hour operations. All of the different companies from each nation are working together underneath one multinational battalion, and they have a series of different large-scale missions, including large-scale attack, defense, and counterattack.
Simultaneously working together during the exercise, soldiers will incorporate techniques they've learned and practiced, such as movement to contact, ambush, defense, and attack tactics, in order to achieve their objectives against a determined opposing force.
Right now we're in a defensive position. We just took our second objective, and we're waiting to carry on with the mission. The language barrier is pretty tough.
Continue drive.
But it's neat to work with these guys to see their different tactics and how they approach different situations. But it's a good experience all around.
What it does is it really creates very good interoperability between all of these different partner nations. And together they get to work with joint fires, aircraft, helicopters, and a bunch of different assets to come together as one team and practice being able to fight as a unified force.
Reporting from Adage, Latvia, I'm Tech Sergeant Bert Traynor.
I'm Specialist Candace Foster with the 210 SFAB in Paktika Province, Afghanistan. And I just want to wish my wonderful nephew, Xavier Tella, in Dallas, Georgia, a very, very happy 15th birthday. I love you, Chubby. I miss you very much, and I'll see you when I get home.
Hi, my name is Specialist Rudolph Hyde from Delta 210 BSB, located in Absheron, Afghanistan. I'd like to give a shout out to my grandparents in Lakewood, California. Love you guys. See you when I get home.
Hi, my name is Kyle Donegan, serving over here in Afghanistan at Absheron with 215 Field Artillery out of Fort Drum, New York. I'd like to make a shout out to my mom, Tracy, my dad, Chris, and my brother, Spencer, in Freeport, Maine. We're getting close. We'll be home soon. I love you guys, and we'll see you soon.
Coming up, soldiers hunt for explosive devices throughout Afghanistan. And the military works to develop a united front in Africa. Check out dvidshub.net for the latest accurate and reliable information as In the Fight continues. How many provinces are in Afghanistan? The answer when we return.
From combat-related stress to the day-to-day stressors of life.
This package is going to be completed.
This is the 4th time this week.
Stress can affect every Marine and Marine family. The De-Stress Line provides anonymous counseling for Marines and Marine families when it's needed most. If you're feeling the effects of stress, call today and let us help you win your personal battles.
Training is about more than muscle. It's about inner strength. So I push myself. That's why I serve in the United States Coast Guard. I train with the best, a team that shares my drive and commitment. We collect intelligence, guard our shores against drug smugglers, and keep our waterways safe, because our nation expects more.
If you expect more, maybe you were born ready. Find out at GoCoastGuard.com.
How many provinces are in Afghanistan? The answer is D, 34. If you're on the front lines and in need of medical attention, the sounds of a Medevac helicopter means that help is on the way. Air Force Staff Sergeant Marleya Miller profiles a Medevac nurse and brings us this story.
I'm Major Sandra Nestor, and I'm a TACIT member, or a Tactical Critical Care Evacuation Team member.
About a minute out, guys.
I'm embedded with the dust-off unit, and we go on point of injury missions and transfers, critical care transfers, and we transport critical patients. Some of them are not critical, but I go on all the transfers and work with the Medevac, Army Medevac team here. We do a lot of training here, and it's pretty important just for crew coordination. So I understand what the crew is doing inside the aircraft. I understand a lot of the calls. I do have tasks like when the patients come on board that I can help pull those patients in, help get them secure, and work with the medic on that, and also the crew chief.
Medevac, Medevac, Medevac.
When a mission drops, you know, the adrenaline is really pumping. You're excited. You run in for the medics, and for myself, we have to run in and get the 9 line to find out what kind of patients, how many patients, what's going on with the mission, and then we have to come out to the aircraft to make sure all of our gear is ready. Once a mission is complete, it's usually a really good feeling because you've transported somebody, you know you've contributed to the war efforts, you know you're helping someone who's injured, and ultimately it's a good feeling.
The roads in Afghanistan are a favorite target for insurgents to place their improvised explosive devices. Army Sergeant Joshua Dwyer follows RCP-7 as they hunt for these IEDs and files this report.
Soldiers from Route Clearance Patrol 7, or RCP, 402nd Saber Company, attached to 4th Brigade Combat Team, 101st Airborne Division, go out almost every day in Paktia Province, Afghanistan, to make sure the roads are safe for coalition and Afghan forces.
We're looking for anything that harms the route or people that are on the route. We just clear the route to make sure there's no explosive hazards, such as IEDs, UXOs, anything like that on the route.
There's 2 main ways the RCP looks for improvised explosive devices, IEDs, and unexploded ordnance, UXOs.
We run a combination of mounted and dismounted. Visually is the best way to find everything, though. It's always the little things that get you, so that's what we look for.
RCP-7 happened to find one of the little things.
The UXO is just another part of route clearance. You know, it's an explosive hazard. It's there. It's right off the route, so we just picked it up with the Talon, moved it to a safe area, and blew in place.
Teams like RCP-7 work hard making sure the roads are safer. And every now and then, they get to blow stuff up.
Fire in the hole!
For Task Force Currahee Public Affairs, I'm Sergeant Josh Dwyer.
A day at the pool for the Marines of Combat Logistics Battalion 31 does not include suntan lotion and a good book. Marine Sergeant Jonathan Wright dives in to bring us this story.
Marines with CLB 31 spend their morning in the pool learning how to escape from a downed aircraft underwater. The pool portion of the class starts with familiarization and the use of the individual breathing devices and ditching techniques. Although these Marines' occupations do not require them to be airborne over water frequently, their attachment to the seafaring 31st MEU requires them to be ready for this contingency.
Being with CLB in the 31st MEU, although I'm not with the Air Wing, we are around aircraft and going to be deployed on aircraft from time to time. This training is very crucial, helps save lives.
The Marines also took a spin in the modular amphibious egress trainer, which simulates a sinking aircraft. The Marines applied what they learned in a realistic scenario, requiring them to operate their breathing devices, shed non-essential gear, and identify safe exits with little to no vision. Sergeant Jonathan Wright, Camp Hansen, Okinawa, Japan.
Peacekeeping can be a difficult mission. In the Republic of Ghana at Western Accord 13, instructors from the U.S. Army Peacekeeping and Stability Operations Institute are helping to develop a united front. Army broadcasting correspondent Gil McCabe brings us this story.
In the eyes of someone who's going to be in
Colonel Bo Balkavage says his job at Exercise Western Accord is making sure his audience understands just how challenging peace can be.
I've participated in peacekeeping missions in the Sinai and the Balkans, but I've never done anything like Africa.
Africa, he says, is different. Territories, people, and nations are all unique. Here in Ghana, site of the exercise, democracy and independence share equal footing with national resources of gold and oil. Within the boundaries of West Africa, it stands as a symbol of regional stability. Keeping the region calm is the focus at Western Accord, where nearly a third of the participants are on their way to Mali, a neighboring country that threatens regional peace. As members of a newly mandated United Nations mission, they will share the next year as a peacekeeping team.
To come here is a good opportunity for officers from different countries to be on the same line.
A line that calls for a united front, cohesive and balanced. What Western Accord offers is a platform where the nuances of Africa are given space to grow.
They clearly understand the mutual benefit they derive from working together as part of a greater African solution to some of the challenges that plague this part of the world.
Western Accord is a two-week event designed to build relationships, strengthen military capabilities and interoperability, and in this case, help break down the difficulties of keeping the peace. Gail McCabe, Ghana.
I'm Captain White, commander of HHC 210 BSB, 2nd Brigade, 10th Mountain Division. I'm here in the Paktika province of Afghanistan, and I'd like to give a shout out to my wife, Gracie, and our beautiful son, Warren, in Fort Drum, New York. I love you both.
Hi, I'm Specialist Joshua A. Driver. I'm from Rapid City, South Dakota with 235th Military Police Company. I'd like to have a shout out to my friends and family. I love you guys, and I can't wait to get home.
This is Sergeant Aaron Jocelyn with HHB 215 at FOB Sharana, Paktika, Afghanistan. I want to send a shout out to my mom and dad and my sister in Tampa, Florida. I love you guys. Can't wait to see you again.
Hi, my name is Specialist Marcel Brown. I'm here in Afghanistan at FOB Rushmore. I would just like to give a shout out to my family back home in Jacksonville, Florida. I would just like to let you know that I'm doing very well, and I miss you, and I love you, and I'll see you soon.
Coming up, family members joyously welcome the return of loved ones. And we'll showcase some of the best photos from our service members as In the Fight, presented by Divots, continues. The term casualty applies to service members in which of the following situations? The answer when we return.
With the new Military 24/7 app from Divots, you turn your favorite mobile device into a window to the front lines. Connect with your nation's finest men and women through our video and photography archives and stay up to date with news reported directly from service members. Quickly share information and breaking stories with friends via Facebook, Twitter, or email. News, photos, video. Your military 24/7.
The environment is my passion. Every day, I live for the outdoors and all of its challenges. That's why I enlisted in the Coast Guard. Now, I serve to protect the environment and defend my country. It's like I was born for this.
Were you born ready for a greater challenge? Find out at gocoastguard.com.
I want to give a shout out to my family and friends.
I want to send a shout out to my husband,
to my parents, my family back home.
I'd like to give a shout out to my girlfriend.
To my family and friends in Lansing, Michigan.
To my family out in Tucson, Arizona.
To my beautiful wife and children in Des Moines, Iowa.
To everybody in Texas.
In York, Pennsylvania.
Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Chicago, Illinois. Harrisonburg, Virginia.
Orlando, Florida.
Oceanside, California.
And Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
I love you guys. I miss you. And I hope I'll see you soon.
The term casualty applies to service members in which of the following situations? The answer is D, all of the above. Female engagement teams have played a vital role in reaching out to the women of Afghanistan. Army Sergeant Brittany Armstrong shows us how these important teams are slowly dwindling as their roles are handed over to the Afghan National Security Forces.
The women of Afghanistan are untouchable in pivotal local populace interactions to most male coalition forces. However, the female engagement team of Nangarhar Province, a 1st Brigade combat team, started from ground zero to build lasting relationships within the community.
Hey, look, this is what we can do. Now, as far as the local populace is concerned, we didn't really have much of a struggle other than people kind of being like, whoa, this is different. You know, but everybody was very receptive to it. They were very open to it. It kind of made a negative atmosphere a little bit more positive when we would come in.
Being a part of a female engagement team is not only about building those relationships with the local women, but their female Afghan border police counterparts, who are now taking a controlled role in community interactions as the advise and assist missions continue. Reporting from Nangarhar Province, Afghanistan, I'm Army Sergeant Brittany Armstrong.
The Honor Guard provides funeral honors for fallen comrades while maintaining exceptionally high standards of appearance and conduct. Airman First Class Kelly Greenwell profiles a Master Sergeant serving in an honorable fashion.
I've never had a job that gave me the amount of satisfaction I get from doing what I do.
While his career by trade involves aircraft maintenance, Master Sergeant Eddie Carnley has spent nearly 20 years of his military service dedicated to what he loves most, the Honor Guard.
Just the love of it, getting out there, working with the young airmen, teaching them why we do things, how we do it, and just having them go out there and show the proper respect to the families. It's really hard to put a word to it or words to it. It's a feeling that you get, and just going home knowing that we did the best we could, and people will always remember exactly what we did. They won't remember our faces, they won't remember our names, but they will remember what we did for them.
Airman First Class Kelly Greenwell, Davis-Monthan Air Force Base, Arizona.
Sports not only promotes a healthy lifestyle, it can have a positive influence on a person's self-esteem. Airman First Class Tanya Chris shows us how a special sports camp is helping wounded warriors begin their healing process.
Joint Base Andrews hosted 38 Wounded Warriors for its first ever Air Force Wounded Warrior Adaptive Sports Camp. The camp introduces participants to numerous different adaptive sports.
So at this camp, we'll be offering sitting volleyball, wheelchair basketball, golf, adaptive golf, archery, air rifle shooting, as well as swimming.
Draw back to your cheek, accent a little bit lower.
The program is aimed at giving those wounded, injured, and ill service members a way to integrate back to a normal lifestyle at the earliest stages of recovery.
You know, oftentimes being wounded, becoming injured, or being diagnosed with an illness, it can shut a lot of doors in our warriors' lives. And sports opens up doors that injury closes. Sports benefits a wounded warrior physically, psychologically, socially, and spiritually.
For one first-timer, it was much more than just playing sports.
I was so excited to have these travel orders. It was like coming home again, you know? And I was just excited to be a part of the Air Force again. You forget about things. You forget about what your disability is, and you're focusing on what your ability is. And I think sports really brings people together, and joy and laughter is very healing. It kind of reminds you of who you were before you were injured.
Airman First Class Tanya Chris, Joint Base Andrews.
After a year of serving in Afghanistan, soldiers from the 2nd Battalion 135th Aviation Regiment finally returned to the United States with their family members ready to welcome them home. Air Force Staff Sergeant Lucas Morrow brings us his story.
This is a story Americans have been hearing for years, soldiers returning home from war. Today, hundreds of family members wait at the very edge of a Buckley Air Force Base hangar door. It's been a long time since these soldiers first left.
317 days.
Okay, so you've been counting your days.
I have.
And we can only expect what everyone's reaction will be when they see soldiers step off the plane.
Hug her. Yeah. Hug her, probably cry. Be very emotional.
It's a hero's welcome. A father holds his child. A mother hugs her daughter. A girlfriend becomes a fiancé. It's all part of a tradition that, no matter how many times we hear it, still never grows old. Air Force Staff Sergeant Lucas Morrow, Buckley Air Force Base, Colorado.
DVIDS is a 24/7 operation that provides a timely, accurate, and reliable connection between the media and the military serving worldwide. Through a network of over 200 portable satellite transmitters around the globe and a distribution hub in Atlanta, Georgia, DVIDS gives you access to the front lines with live and archived broadcast video, still imagery, and print products. Visit our website at dvidshub.net and search through our enormous video and photo library. Register on our website to gain complete access to high-definition content along with breaking news alerts and webcasts from top military officials. For questions or comments about In the Fight or DVIDS, you can email us at ondemand@dvidshub.net or follow us on Twitter and Facebook. As we close, we feature some of the best photos that DVIDS has to offer as we listen to Eddie Horst's composition, Pangea. See you next time. In the Fight.